to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about Uniform Civil Code in the state of Uttarakhand. Before we go to the editorial, when you know it is about Uniform Civil Code, you have to think of the broad framework. It will start with the concept of Uniform Civil Code. Then it will talk about the features of the Uniform Civil Code. It also talks about the pros and cons and the limitations. And eventually, it may give a suggestion or take a stand. There is a broad framework that goes with today's editorial also. But we'll start the session with the question, what is this editorial about? This editorial discusses the adoption of a uniform civil code. Adoption. You have to recollect two words. One is adopt, the other one adapt. What is the difference between adopt and adapt? Adopt, take someone's child and make yours legally. That's a legal term. It goes with everyday English. Adapt, to get used to. In this context, adopt means to take something. Adoption of what? A uniform civil code, UCC, by a particular state, not across the country. By which state? By the Uttarakhand Assembly in India. The UCC aims, what is the objective of this? The UCC aims to consolidate laws related to marriage, divorce, and succession across all communities. There is one important word I use regularly. What is the meaning of the word consolidate? I say when you learn, while preparing for competitive exams, you learn a lot. You have to learn a lot. Every day you're bombarded with a lot of information, not easy to remember. So, how to remember, how to consolidate? Consolidate means to strengthen. You have to revise regularly. The same word consolidate means strengthen laws related to three dimensions. What are the three dimensions? One, marriage, second, divorce, and third, succession, perhaps related to property across all communities. That is the most important thing. Why is this important? Today, if you take the topic Uniform Civil Code, it has been in the limelight for a few decades, not years, a few decades. And it is not easy to implement. The reason being, India is known as a country of unity in diversity. We have diverse communities. When we have diverse communities, each community or each religion specific laws, then it's a bit difficult to implement uniform civil code. The editorial will touch all those dimensions. What is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial is critical and cautious. Sometimes students ask me, sir, what is the meaning of critical? Critical means you criticize a particular work. You go through a particular work and you talk about the positive aspects, negative aspects, more about negative aspects. That is known as critical assessment. And cautious. We got this word cautious yesterday also. Cautious means careful. Be cautious about someone, be cautious about something, be careful about someone or something. And the tone of the editorial is critical and cautious, while acknowledging means accepting the desirability of a uniform civil code, UCC, for a secular country. There's one important word. Today, if you take the Constitution, if you go to the first part of the Constitution, the preamble, you see it goes like this: India is a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. There's one important word, secular. Secular, in the context of the Constitution, no official religion, no official religion. Or you can also interpret as respecting all religions. The word secular is adjective. It goes with a country, it goes with a party, it goes with an individual. Today, if you take some political parties, they are labeled as religious party, secular party. A religious party, inclination towards a particular religion, secular, respecting all religions. India is a secular country. Because India is a secular country, we respect all religions, no official religion. The need for a uniform civil code is very much there, desirable, of a uniform civil code for a secular country, and recognizing some positive aspects of the Uttarakhand code, the editorial raises concerns and objections to certain provisions. The editorial says it is desirable to have a uniform civil code. What is the reason? India is a secular country. At the same time, it has raised a few concerns. It has recognized some positive aspects of the Uttarakhand code. The editorial raises concerns. Again, there are two verbs you have to recollect. One is rise, the other one erase. Many a time they have given questions. What is the difference between rise and erase? Arise is an intransitive verb and an irregular verb. Arise, rose, risen. Arise is a transitive verb and a regular verb. Arise, raised, raised. Usual combinations, arise goes with prices. The sun rises in the east. The prices are rising. Arise means to go up. It talks about the position. Raise means to improve. Raise the standards. One of the meanings. Usually we say raise your hand, raise something. There should be an object. That you have to recollect. And one more word, concerns. I have told many a time. Concern, usually, why is it important? It goes with common errors. When you go to someone's office, a lot of people usually they say, I would like to meet the concerned person. That is wrong. Concerned person means the person has concern for you. You're a stranger. Why should he have concern for you? Then you may ask, what is the correct expression? The correct expression, I would like to meet the person concerned. Person concerned means person related to that particular work or person related to that particular department. Even that you have to recollect. But what is the tone? The tone is critical and cautious, acknowledging the desirability of UCC for a secular country like India and recognizing some positive aspects, something positive of the Uttarakhand Code. The editorial raises concerns and objections to certain provisions. Though it has appreciated certain aspects, it has raised concerns and objections based on certain provisions or conditions. Let's see how it starts. Towards uniformity. What are we talking about? We are talking about uniform civil code. Why should we have uniform civil code? What are the implications to produce or to create a uniform situation, uniformity, when it comes to a particular region or a particular country? What is the key word here? Uniformity, towards uniformity on the UCC adopted by the Uttarakhand Assembly. But what is the main idea of this editorial? The concept of justice is paramount. The concept of justice is paramount. Uniformity is an offshoot of equality. There are two words. First, we'll see the meanings, then we'll go to the sentence. Paramount, an important word. What is part of speech? Adjective. More important than anything else. Supreme. Something is very important, we say paramount. And offshoot, usually it goes with a plant. From the side you get a new one, we say offshoot. But in this context, what does it mean? Part of speech, noun. A thing that develops from something else. Something develops from something else, then we say it is an offshoot of that thing. Here, the concept of justice is paramount. When it comes to governance, the most important dimension, the concept of justice, that is the most important, it is a paramount. Easy to understand. Uniformity is an offshoot of equality. Today, if you take the Constitution, it talks about equality, the fundamental rights and equality, right to something. And it is this uniformity is an offshoot of equality. What does it mean? Because India is a secular country, all are equal. No specific respect or no special treatment for a particular religion or a particular community. All are equal. Based on that, uniformity is an offshoot of equality. A uniform civil code UCC is a desirable and progressive goal. As I said, there are two terms over here. Desirable means required. It is a desirable and progressive goal for a secular country. As I said, any editorial, this editorial goes with, usually I tell students I've created one acronym. What is that acronym? SLEEPS. What do the letters stand for? Science and technology, legal, education, economy, polity, socio-cultural problems. This one goes with the last one. What is the last one here? Socio-cultural problems. And any topic, any editorial that deals with any of these issues, very important from the exam point of view. Same topic you may get in the exam. And this is an important topic. A UCC is a desirable and progressive goal. Desirable, it is something required, and it is a progressive, moving in the right direction, goal for a secular country. Secular means what? Not having any connection with religion, but generally we say secular, no official religion. India is a secular country. However, the word however is important. It expresses a contrast. However, mere uniformity without making reasonable allowances for diverse cultural and social practices among different social groups may not be ideal. There is another word, ideal. The typical combinations: ideal job, ideal place, ideal situation, ideal something means perfect. Thing or situation that is considered to be perfect. Ideal job. He has an ideal job means what? A perfect job. He's quite happy with that. What is the meaning of this sentence? The Uniform Civil Code is a desirable and progressive goal for a secular country. No one can deny that. Acceptable. It is desirable, at the same time progressive, going forward. But there is a condition. What is a condition? Today, if you look at India, it is known as a country of unity in diversity. India is known for its unity in diversity. We have so many communities, so many religions. India is known for its unity, at the same time diversity. When we have a lot of diverse communities, obviously we have to consider certain factors. That is very important. This sentence talks about the limitations. However, mere uniformity without making reasonable allowances, casually or one shot, you cannot say it has to be uniform. That is not practical, not pragmatic, not advisable. We have to consider certain aspects. However, mere uniformity without making reasonable allowances for diverse cultural and social practices. Social practices, cultural practices, we have to consider. Without considering, you cannot go for uniformity. Among different social groups may not be ideal. Without considering the limitations based on the diverse communities or the diverse groups, you go for uniformity. That is not going to be perfect. That is not going to be ideal. And there is one important word here. Tell me, you can respond when I ask you a question. I'll appreciate that. Ideal. Ideal, I have given the meaning. Why is this word important? Answer my question. What is the difference between practice? Practice, TISC, TICE. What is the difference? They have given in many exams. There are two words, advise, practice. We have two different spellings. TISC is a verb form. TICE is a noun form. Here we are talking about the noun, practices. Here, social, cultural, and social practices. It's a noun over here. If you respond, I appreciate. Huh, very good. No, no. TISC is a verb. TIC is a noun. Very good. I appreciate. Who is that? Kiran. Good. The UCC adopted by the Uttarakhand Assembly aims to consolidate the laws relating to marriage, divorce and succession among all communities. I have read out when I talked about the tone of the editorial. The UCC adopted by the Uttarakhand Assembly aims, what is the objective of this? Consolidate, strengthen laws relating to three dimensions are there. What are the three dimensions? Marriage, divorce, and succession among all communities, not a particular community, all communities. There is one important word, succession, part of speech, noun, a number of people or things of a similar kind following one after the other. Succession is not nothing but From one community, another community. More or less the same features. We use the word succession. These are the three dimensions, the laws related to three dimensions. The state has become the first. There are some students, listen very carefully. When you read the editorial, you have to take a holistic approach. You have to respect every word, and you have to be a smart reader. Casual reading, waste of time. But when you read every sentence in the editorial, there's so much to learn. You can improve your comprehension skill, you can improve your vocabulary, you can consolidate your grammar knowledge. One sentence is enough to learn a lot. Here, the state has become, answer my question, the state has become, which tense is that? First question. The state has become, it is present perfect tense. That you have to recollect. Present perfect is the most important tense. Of all the tenses, the most important tense is present perfect. And the first, one more thing you have to recollect. This is also very important. We use the definite article the before ordinal numbers. First, second, third. We have to say the first, the second, the third. Ah, very good. I appreciate. Present perfect, active voice. The state has become the first. Again, one more clue for you from the exam point of view. I told last week also, I keep saying, whenever you come across two prepositions, since, for, you have to think of two tenses, one present perfect, the other one present perfect continuous. Here they have used a present perfect. The state has become the first since pre-independence Goa to adopt a uniform code for civil matters. The first since a particular time period, for a particular time, since when, you ask a question, pre-independence Goa to adopt a uniform code for civil matters. What is particularly violative of the constitution is the bizarre portion in this UCC aiming to formalize live-in relationships through registration. There's a new dimension. This part you have to listen very carefully. Uniform civil code, nothing wrong. Highly appreciable, desirable, progressive step. But what is particularly violative of the Constitution? Violative, part of speech adjective, an action that breaks or acts against something. Violate means what? Break, violate the law, break the law, or go against the law. Another word, bizarre. Bizarre, part of speech adjective. What does it mean? Very strange or unusual. Some students have been responding. I appreciate that. Keep doing it. Since point of time for time period. Very good, Rajkumar. Here, this part is acceptable. It talks about the historical perspective since pre-independence Goa to adopt a uniform civil code or uniform code for civil matters. What is particularly violative of the constitution is a bizarre portion. Means strange, something very strange. What is strange here? This particular UCC talks about registration of live-in relationship. Today, if you take a live-in, bizarre incident, very good, Anand. Here, if you take Western culture, Eastern culture, I would like to give two important terms. They are very important from the exam point of view. First one, Occidental. Occidental culture means Western culture. We belong to the Orient. Oriental. Oriental means Eastern. Occidental culture, Oriental culture. What is this Occidental culture, Western culture, Oriental culture, Eastern culture? If you take Western culture, actually it is not Western culture. We say Western abuse. One of the dimensions of Western culture, live-in relationship. Now it has come to our country. If you go to cities, you come across people practicing, only a few, perhaps not even 1%, live-in relationship. This particular UCC makes it compulsory or mandatory to register a live-in relationship. That is a bit strange. Based on that, the word bizarre has been used. Of the constitution is a bizarre portion in this UCC aiming to formalize live-in relationships through registration. Imagine there's a boy and a girl, they are in living relationship, and then they are supposed to, it is mandatory to register their relationship, and that is really strange. But there's a good intention behind. What is that good intention behind? If they don't, negative side, it is nothing but intruding into the personal life of a person. I'll read this, then I will talk about the positive aspect. This unwanted incursion. Incursion means invasion or attack, especially a sudden or brief one. Incursion, you can think of not exactly attack, invasion into the private life. This unwanted incursion into citizens' personal life, invasion into personal life, is worsened by the prescription of a 3-month prison term for non-registration. Now, the UCC of Uttarakhand says, though positive aspects are there, the negative side of the thing, live-in relationship, those who are in live-in relationship, they have to register, and that is mandatory. One thing. Imagine they have not registered. What are the consequences? They have to undergo by the prescription of a 3-month prison term for non-registration. That is again not acceptable. It will expose citizens to intrude. There's one word. From that you get intrude. And what is a noun form? Intruder. Imagine a party is going on, someone comes without invitation. What is the word you use? Intruder. Here, it will expose citizens to intrusive inquiries, social hostility, and pointless deprivation of liberty. So many words, but here, hostility, we have got many a time, part of speech noun. What does it mean? Enmity, hostile behavior, unfriendliness, or opposition. But generally, I give the word enmity. Enmity, antagonistic. Two important words you have to recollect based on hostility. Hostility, noun, hostile, adjective. Hostile behavior. Another word, deprive. Deprive takes a preposition of. And what is the noun form? Deprivation. An act of taking something away from someone or something. Deprived of the fundamental rights. Deprived of the privileges. The typical combinations. Listen to the combinations I'm giving. Combinations are very important. It will expose citizens to intrusive inquiries, social hostility, and pointless deprivation of liberty, taking away someone's liberty. The negative aspects of this one. What is the positive aspect? There's something positive. While it contains positive features such as conferring legitimacy on children born of live-in relations and mandating maintenance in the event of desertion, the very idea that people living together should submit themselves to registration and verifications is repugnant to individual rights. Here it starts with a contrasting word, something positive, something negative. While it contains positive features, such as what are the positive features? Imagine a couple, live in relationship, a boy and a girl, a child is born. The child is not legal. The child is considered, there's one term, illegitimate. Ill, I double L, illegitimate, I'm sorry. Legitimate, what is opposite? Illegitimate. Illegitimate means illegal. For that, there is another word you have to recollect, illicit. Illegitimate, illicit child. Society will not respect. Once they register, they get the child gets the legal dimension. That is something positive. While it contains positive features such as conferring legitimacy, legality on children born of live-in relations and mandating maintenance in the event of desertion, this is again very important. There are two words you have to recollect. One is the spelling is different, meaning is different, and pronunciation also different. First one, desert, and it has two meanings. As a noun, the Sahara, the Thar, desert, and as a verb, deserted. She has been deserted by her family. Means what? Deserted by her family means the family left, abandoned. Very good, Kiran. Abandoned. The family abandoned the person. She has been deserted. He has been deserted. But what is the other word here? Dessert. E sound. Dessert. The special food you have after the main course, a sweet or ice cream, whatever. It talks about there are two dimensions, negative aspects that come into existence because of live-in relationship. Once the child becomes is considered illegitimate or illicit, and second, the maintenance part in case they get separated. It takes into consideration those two dimensions. Those are the positive features. First one, conferring legitimacy on children born of live-in relations, and the second one, mandating. Mandatory means what? Compulsory. Mandating maintenance in the event of desertion. Negative aspect, the very idea that people living together should submit themselves to registration and verification is repugnant to individual rights. An important word, repugnant. Repugnant means what? Extremely distasteful or unacceptable. But generally, I give the meaning repugnant means disgusting, something you don't want to do, you don't want to see, you don't want to look at. Repugnant, disgusting, aversive. These are the words you have to recollect. These are negative dimension. When the constitution makers made the adoption of a UCC one of the directive principles, today, if you take the Constitution, we have directive principles, and the makers of the Constitution excuse me, made the adoption of a UCC one of the directive principles. Opinion was divided. Means what? Some people, constitutional makers, some were in favor, some were not in favor. Please excuse me. Sorry about that. I got choked. Shall I continue? Coming to when the constitution makers made the adoption of a UCC, consonantal sound based on that a UCC, one of the directive principles, opinion was divided on whether a UCC will undermine minority. Undermine, an important word. What does it mean? To gradually weaken or destroy someone or something. Part of speech verb. So some people, some makers thought it would undermine minority rights or promote equal status for women in all religions. There are two dimensions. Undermine the minority rights. The other dimension, promote equal status for women in all religions. B.R. Ambedkar felt the UCC, if enacted, should be voluntary in the initial stages. It should not be imposed upon, it should be voluntary. They should come forward, do on their own. That was a stand taken by B.R. Ambedkar. The previous law commission had said a UCC is neither desirable nor necessary. This was a stand taken by the previous law commission, had said, past perfect tense, neither desirable nor necessary. Not desirable, not necessary. That was a stand taken by the previous law commission, and instead suggested that each body of personal law be reformed to eliminate discrimination or regressive practices. The previous law commission stand was, it took a stand saying that neither desirable nor necessary. But there was a suggestion from the previous law commission. What was the suggestion? Suggested that each body of personal law be reformed. Individually, a law of a particular religion, take that and try to reform, be reformed to eliminate discrimination or regressive practices. Discriminate means what? To treat a person or particular group of people unfairly. Discriminate, unfair treatment. Regressive opposite of progressive, returning to a previous and less advanced or worse state or way of behaving. In the past, worse state, progress, better state. You go back to that worse state, that is nothing but regressive. The previous law commission said we have to take individual religion and try to reform anything discriminatory or anything that is regressive. Much of the Uttarakhand code seems to have been borrowed from existing laws. Seems to have been borrowed, an important pattern. It is in passive voice, but it is non-finite verb. Seem to have won the match, active voice, and here seem to have been borrowed, passive voice, from existing laws on marriage and succession, but with significant omissions. Looks like they have borrowed from the existing laws, but a few omissions are there. For instance, to justify that, but with significant important omissions. For instance means what? For example, the code is the only avenue. Avenue has two different meanings. One meaning, a street or a road with trees on either side. Both sides you have trees, avenue. But in this context, a method or way of doing something, you can also say possibility. What are the avenues to grow? Means what are the possibilities to grow? For instance, the court is the only avenue for dissolving a marriage, and there is no waiting period to remarry after divorce, nor is there any need for a woman to marry another person before she can remarry her former husband. This looks a little complicated, but in a nutshell, it talks about the omissions, significant omissions. This is one omission the editorial mentions. What a woman can do after getting separated. These provisions, which eliminate the concepts of iddat, talaq, and nikah, halala, are all progressive and further individual rights. Further, an important word means advance individual rights. There are two words you have to recollect. One, FARTHER, the other one, FURTHER. What is the difference? First one refers to distance. Second one refers to in addition to. In many exams, they've given a question like, she has gone to the US for further studies. Wrong. She has gone to the US for further studies. Further studies means what? Already a graduate, perhaps she wanted to become a postgraduate. And FARTHER, it refers to distance. Here, further individual rights means advance individual rights. So all these are all progressive and further individual rights. Interestingly, it preserves. Preserve usually goes with environment, wildlife, and when it ecosystems. We use two terms: one preservation, the other one conservation. Preserve means to keep something in the same state. It preserves the existing provision, allowing custom and usage or exception to the bar here, the limit on marriage within prohibited degrees of relationship, but adds a rider that such custom cannot be against public policy or morality. Rider, part of speech noun, a condition added to something already agreed. The policy talks about something, but there is a rider. Means what? There is a condition. The condition, nothing but a condition. What this sentence means, it preserves the existing provision allowing custom and usage as an exception to the bar on marriage within prohibited degrees of relationship. Within prohibited degrees of relationship, there is an exception. This exception is based on custom and usage. That is one thing. But at the same time, there is a rider. What is the condition? But adds a rider that such custom cannot be against public policy or morality. I'll try to simplify that. Imagine a particular religion, there's a particular thing, and it does not go with the normal practice, then it is acceptable because it's an exception, it goes with custom. But at the same time, the law says, though it can be exempted, it can be considered, it is considered as long as it does not go against public policy or morality. This is again, that is a rider. An unfortunate fallout of all this is a polarizing discourse taking shape in the run up to the general election. General election fast approaching, the editorial opines all this nothing but an unfortunate fallout. Fallout noun, the unpleasant results or effects of an action or event. Negative impact of something, fallout. And what is the other polarizing? We have got many a time. If the society gets divided into two groups, like North Pole, South Pole, two opposing groups, then we say the society has got polarized. Polarizing discourse. Discourse, part of speech noun, written or spoken communication or debate. The sentence says, an unfortunate fallout of all this is a polarizing discourse taking shape in the run up to the general election. Based on this, the society may get divided, some in favor, some not in favor. Then it results in polarization. And why all this at this juncture? Because the elections are fast approaching. The concept of justice should not be lost in the search for uniformity. Ultimately, what is important? Diversity, unity, uniformity, these are not important, these are secondary. The ultimate, the bottom line, the most important, justice. That's what the editorial says. The concept of justice should not be lost in the search for uniformity, which should be no more than an incidental consequence of equality. Ultimately, justice is important, not uniformity, not equality. All these are equality to some extent you can consider, but the most important thing, justice. It is not uniformity, it is justice that has to be focused on, that has to be considered. That's all about this editorial, not a lengthy one, but a few sentences you have to read twice or thrice. Before I go to you go to the questions, listen very carefully. Every editorial you come across 80% the sentences are easy to comprehend. 80%, I repeat. But 20%, perhaps one or two sentences you cannot comprehend. For example, today's editorial, many students may not understand. Somewhere we have come across the word bar. If you take this one, you may not understand at the outset a sentence like this. Then what are you supposed to do? You have to read twice, thrice, and with a focused mind. Only then you will be able to understand. Nothing to worry. A few sentences not easy to. You have to spend more time. Some students have already answered. I appreciate. What is the primary concern raised in the editorial regarding the Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code? What is the answer you have given? C. What is C here? Lack of recognition for live in relationships, excessive waiting periods for remarriage after divorce, intrusive mandatory registration of live in relationships. That is the main concern, registering live in relationship, and that is mandatory. According to the editorial, what positive feature does the Uttarakhand Code include regarding children born out of live-in relationship? The code has both positive and negative features. This question deals with the positive feature. What is a positive feature? Denying legitimacy to such children, conferring legitimacy on such children, mandating a waiting period for the legitimacy, requiring additional documentation for the legitimacy. Easy to answer. What is the answer? Yes, I see a few students. Nandini has answered, Anand has answered. Answer is B. Positive feature, definitely positive. Why is it positive? Today, if you take a child, present scenario, a child born out of illicit relationship, he is considered an illegitimate child. Society does not respect, does not recognize. But this code says, born out of live-in relationship, the child gets the legitimacy. That is something positive. Good, you have got it right. Go to question number 16. What historical perspective does the editorial provide regarding the Uniform Civil Code? This is a bit difficult. You got to read carefully. What historical perspective? Keywords, always focus on the keywords and try to answer. The UCC has always been unanimously accepted since independence. No. Minorities always try to object. Certain groups always try to object. They don't want the Uniform Civil Code. And B.R. Ambedkar believed the UCC should be mandatory. No. The previous law commission recommended immediate implementation. No. The previous law commission said it is neither desirable nor necessary. Thank you very much. Who is this? Hari Krishna. Thank you very much. What is the last one? Ambedkar suggested a voluntary approach in the initial stages. That's what the editorial says. Answer is a D. Very good. I appreciate that. You're all good listeners. If you answer during a live session, you listen to the faculty and immediately questions you answer, that is highly appreciable and admirable. It shows that you are a very good listener and you're very good at comprehension skill. Answer the last one. According to the editorial, what criticism is directed towards Uttarakhand Code's approach to marriage and divorce? There are three dimensions: marriage, divorce, succession. This question is related to marriage and divorce. What is the criticism? Excessive waiting periods for remarriage after divorce, preservation of iddat, talaq, and nikah halala concepts, lack of provisions for maintenance in case of desertion, the elimination of waiting periods and traditional concepts. A bit difficult to answer. Not at all easy. Question number 4. Oh, you have answered C. What is C here? Lack of provisions for maintenance in case of desertion. I think it has provided maintenance in case of desertion. No, that has been mentioned. Preservation of, no, not B also. Elimination of waiting periods and traditional concepts. Elimination of waiting periods and traditional concepts. Answer is D, not B, not C. D, not an easy one, rather difficult. What cautionary note does editorial strike regarding the political discourse surrounding the UCC? Cautionary note, important expression. Does the editorial strike regarding the political discourse surrounding the UCC? Political discourse. Advocating for an immediate implementation of the UCC, emphasizing the importance of a polarizing discourse, warning against prioritizing uniformity over the concept of justice, supporting intrusive inquiries into citizens' personal lives. What is the answer? Now I see Kiran says D, fourth one, and Asha Lata also D. Good. Fifth one, what is the answer? Emphasizing the importance of a polarizing discourse. Polarizing discourse. Or warning against prioritizing uniformity over the concept of justice. regarding the political discourse surrounding the UCC. Look at the political discourse. Had it been general, had it been general, answer would have been C, warning against prioritizing uniformity over the concept of justice. This is something general. But here the question talks about political discourse. What cautionary note does editorial strike regarding the political discourse surrounding the UCC? Answer should be emphasizing the importance of a polarizing discourse. Answer should be B. B is the answer because political discourse results in polarizing. Polarizing means what? Dividing the society into two distinct groups, one this side, the other one that side. Not C. C is general, but here it talks about regarding the political discourse surrounding the UCC. Political dimension. Political dimension is what? Polarizing discourse. Exactly. Based on the question, it is B. Let us go to the consolidation part, the words you got yesterday. Try to answer. We have about 18 words. You have to answer quickly. C is the general one. B is the answer based on the key words political discourse. Political discourse, polarization, polarizing discourse, and fast approaching elections, they all belong to one particular idea. Four, wonderful. 4 out of 5, very good. Allies, write the part of speech, write the key word. Ally, singular, allies, plural. Noun, to unite. Association, that is the right word. Who is this? Shiva Prasad. Ally means a group, a country, a party, an organization that joins hands with some other party, some other country, some other group. That association, ally, usually at the time of the war, countries join hands, then we say allies of a particular country. Part of speech, obviously, noun, viable. Try when you answer, write the part of speech, write the meaning, but do recollect the word forms, word combinations, how it has been used in the editorial. That is very important. In the long run, that will be useful. Viable project. Yesterday I gave viable project means what? Feasible project. Here, viable part of speech. When I say viable proposal, viable scheme, viable project means feasible. Kiran, very good. That is the word I'm looking for, waiting for. Feasible means possible. Viable, feasible, possible, they all mean the same. Good. One more student. Anand also says feasible, and Ramkrishna also says feasible. That's the word you have to remember. Durga also says the same thing. Audial, the JMM had to undergo an ordeal because of the arrest of the former chief minister. So, ordeal means what? Part of speech, noun, to be able to implement it. That's also good, Rajkumar. I appreciate that. Ordeal, they had to undergo the ordeal, means what? Undergo something very unpleasant for a long time, for a prolonged period. Good. Weather the storm is an idiomatic expression. Idioms are very important. Setback, not setback. No, no. Setback for what? Ordeal. No, not exactly. Ordeal means something unpleasant, something you don't want to experience, something painful, and that too not for a short period, for a long period. Weather the storm, an important idiom. Try to answer. They could weather the storm. I could weather the storm. You could weather the storm. You have to weather the storm. Means what? Weather the storm. Coming out of an unpleasant situation. Lokesh. Oh, Lokesh, after Initially you were there, nowadays I don't see. Good. Lokesh says coming out of an unpleasant situation. In a way, you're right. Weather the storm means withstand an unpleasant situation and come out victorious. Yes. Predominantly, obviously, adverb. Predominantly means what? Yes, Rajkumar says overcome difficulty. Perfect. Weather the storm, simple, overcome. Try to use your own words. Try to rephrase the meaning. Don't try to write the same thing. Rephrase, that is always better. Survive also, you can say, who is that? Durga. Yes, survive a problem, a difficulty, hardship, unfortunate situation. Primarily, mainly, Pavani, mainly, primarily also you can say, but predominantly, mainly, that is a word you have to think of. Wrest, part of speech, verb, wrest the power from other parties means what? A particular party wrests power from other parties. What does it mean? Grab, you can say, grasp from someone's hold, you can say, take away from someone's pull also you can say, Kiran. Good. Pull from someone's hands, grab from someone's hands, grasp from someone's hands. Snatching, who is this? Lokesh, good. You can use a simple word, everyday English, snatch. Snatch the chain, snatch the bag, chain snatcher, a typical combination, chain snatchers. Era, part of speech, noun. What does it mean? Time period. A time period. Grasp is the word literally. Proxy, part of speech, noun. It can also be adjective. But generally, he is a proxy of someone. A long period, okay? Distinct period. Wonderful. Durga says the same thing. Indicates time period, Shiva Prasad. I appreciate you are expressing you in your own words. That helps in the long run. Don't try to memorize. Get the concept and rephrase. That is always better. Proxy means what? Not exactly malpractice. Proxy means a person representing another person, not legally, illegally. It has a negative connotation. It's a negative word. Substitute, Pallu, very good. A substitute, very simple. A person for another person, Lokesh, good. Proxy. Duress, an important word. Under duress, it takes a preposition under. They had to do it under duress. Not supporter, substitute is a better word. To act upon someone else. Fine, you can say that also, Rajkumar. Okay, sir. Who is that? Shiva Prasad. Proxy war. Yes, a typical combination, Rajkumar. Proxy war. What is the next one? Duress. Force or intimidate someone to do something illegal or something that is not acceptable. Threat, threaten or intimidate. Intimidate means frighten. Under threat. Under threat, you do something under duress. Very good. Buck the trend. What is it? Idiom. So, what is the meaning of buck the trend? 10th one, no one has responded. Buck the trend. How come no response? Buck the trend means avoid the trend, not to follow the trend. Let us go to catapult. Catapult, a verb. It can also be a noun, but based on the editorial, it's a regular verb. I have given the meaning, Rajkumar. Buck the trend means avoid the trend. Avoid. Imagine all are going in a particular direction. All are going doing something. You don't do that. That is a trend. All are going in a particular direction. That is a trend. And you don't do that. Then we say you have bucked the trend. Means you have avoided the trend, not to follow the typical thing. Answer catapult. Catapult means what? Okay, sir. It has two different meanings. One meaning, fine, sir. The other one, sir, please go to the next one. Please answer. Catapult means to push someone with a lot of force. From here, someone pushes me with a lot of force. I go to a different level altogether. Then that is known as catapult. Break the hierarchy. For which one? Anand. Helm. Helm can be a noun, can be a verb. At the helm, a standard expression. He is helming. Rarely we use it as a verb. The standard expression, the CM is at the helm. The party president is at the helm. Means controlling everything. Try to answer quickly. We are running out of time. It's already 9:56. We have only 4 minutes. Looks like we have a session at 10. I will do finish it off quickly. Typical means average, same features like others, and a typical part of speech adjective. Then rift, a difference between friends or partners. It is a noun. Then unedifying, unedifying adjective means unpleasant, unpleasant and something not desirable. And purported seems to be doing something but falsely. Purported, part of speech adjective, purported actions. And scam, dishonest scheme, something that is illegal, that is a noun. And give up is a phrasal verb. As a phrasal verb, give up, what does it mean? Stop trying for something. You can also say surrender, yield, all these words you can, but generally we say give up means while preparing for competitive exams, never give up. Means what? Never stop trying, never quit. And before I end the session, there's an important quote: winners never quit, quitters never win. Do remember. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.